So, have you ever had one of those moments where you just stop? You're going about your day, doing something completely mundane, maybe getting in the car,
Mhm.
and then it just hits you. The sheer pervasive presence of artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
maybe your phone connects to your car and like
Yeah,
without you even asking, it tells you exactly how long your commute will be right down to the minute.
right. That predictive thing.
Yeah. And you get that feeling of, whoa, Big Brother is with me and you 247, 365 now. It's almost like we woke up one morning and realized AI is simply, well, like our sources say, baked into nearly everything we touch these days.
It's a really profound shift, isn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, from science fiction to our pockets, our homes, our workplaces, AI has integrated itself with such, well, speed and subtlety
Mm-hmm.
that its presence often goes kind of unnoticed until you pause and actually reflect on it.
Hmm.
It's not some far-off concept anymore. It's an active participant in our present.
Right. Exactly. And it's that very unnoticed integration that makes us realize we need to truly understand what's happening. So, today on the deep dive, our mission for you is to kind of peel back those layers.
Okay.
We want to explore the multifaceted impact of AI right now. We're going to try and unpack everything from its, significant financial implications and its fascinating integration into government and education.
Yeah, the public sector stuff is huge.
Totally. And then get into the really pressing ethical and privacy questions it raises, and even how it's subtly reshaping our basic human interactions.
And to guide us through this pretty intricate landscape,
Hmm.
we've pulled together a really diverse and compelling stack of sources. We'll be drawing financial analysis from the Motley Fool, which is always interesting,
Yeah.
a thought-provoking opinion piece from the Daily News, some in-depth insights into government policy from IPB News and Latrobe Bulletin News,
Okay.
a critical legal perspective from NPR, which is crucial, and academic initiatives from News 3. Plus, we'll look at the complex global regulatory efforts through the lens of the regulatory review.
So, this truly is a comprehensive look at the cutting edge of AI, designed to give you those aha moments without feeling like you're drowning in information. Let's dive in.
Okay. So if you think about AI, it's really not just those advanced robots or, complex algorithms you see in the movies anymore.
Right.
As one of our sources from the Daily News highlights, it's already a constant companion in our lives,
Mm.
often in ways that are incredibly subtle, almost invisible. It functions less like a tool you choose to use and more like well, a pervasive ambient layer.
That's a fascinating observation. And that source had a perfect example, didn't it? The author talked about how every morning when they start their truck, their phone just automatically connects to the screen.
Right, seamlessly.
And instantly, without a prompt, it pulls data and tells them, it will take you 9 minutes to arrive at work today. I mean, think
Right.
about that. It's not just knowing your commute, but anticipating it, integrating with your vehicle, all without you lifting a finger. It speaks to a level of predictive power that honestly felt like pure sci-fi just a few years ago. But it also kind of raises that subtle question: how much control and how much data are we unconsciously handing over for that split-second convenience?
That's a powerful point. This ubiquitous data collection is precisely what allows AI to anticipate our needs or provide these seemingly convenient insights. The really profound insight here is how AI is sort of blurring the lines,
Hmm.
making us increasingly comfortable with this constant data collection, often without fully grasping the cumulative impact on our autonomy or even the very definition of personal space in this digital age.
Hmm.
Our willingness to sacrifice a little bit of privacy for that frictionless experience is being subtly, recalibrated.
And it goes beyond just anticipating our commute, right? Think about customer service, for instance. We've all been there, haven't we?
Oh yeah, the phone tree nightmares.
Exactly.
Thanks.
Interacting with AI-aided voice bots, navigating those automated menus, often reaching a point where, like the source points out, a human was nowhere to be found. It can be super frustrating. Hmm.
But what's fascinating is how we as humans adapt to or resist these interactions and what those interactions actually reveal about AI's current capabilities.
Indeed. That article shares a really wonderful anecdote about the author's wife. She knew she was talking to an AI voice bot, right?
Yeah,
But she still said please and thank you, and her reasoning, she just didn't want to give in to not being polite.
I love that.
It speaks volumes, doesn't it, about our ingrained social norms, even when we're faced with non-human intelligence. It's almost a subconscious attempt to, like, model behavior, even to a machine.
It really is. It's like, even if it's a machine, we still treat it with a basic level of human courtesy. Maybe it's habit, or maybe it's some deeper, almost instinctive hope that, politeness will somehow get you a better
Yeah,
outcome.
maybe trick the algorithm.
Huh, maybe. But then the author contrasts that with his own experience. He had this frustrating run-in with an AI bot that took, like, a half dozen tries and multiple calls just to resolve an issue.
Been there. And ultimately, he needed a human transfer. And what was the key difference? With the human, they even shared a lot, something the AI bot would never do.
And that anecdote just brilliantly underscores AI's current capabilities and, maybe more importantly, its limitations. While AI can process information and execute tasks with incredible speed, it often really struggles with nuance, with empathy,
Yeah.
and those subtle, often nonverbal cues that define genuine human interaction. That shared laughter, the understanding in a frustrating moment, these are hallmarks of human connection that AI simply cannot replicate, at least not yet.
Right.
It challenges our expectations of what a helpful interaction should feel like, and like you said, how it tests our social norms. It makes you appreciate the irreplaceable value of actual human connection.
That's a crucial point. While AI can be a powerful tool for efficiency, it's just not always a replacement for that critical human element. Now, while we're
Yeah.
talking about capabilities, we have to talk about the speed of this thing.
Oh, the pace. Yeah.
The pace of AI development is truly astonishing. It's not just moving fast, it's accelerating at an unprecedented rate, really outstripping even historical technological growth benchmarks.
Yeah. Our sources are pretty clear on this. AI, particularly machine learning, is now breaking this long-held rule of Moore's Law. Now, for those maybe not familiar, Moore's Law.
Gordon Moore, Intel co-founder, right,
Right.
1660s. Yeah.
Exactly. He famously observed that the number of transistors you could fit on a microchip roughly doubles every 2 years, while the cost halves. It's been the benchmark for electronic growth, the guiding principle for silicon chip innovation for decades. But the development in AI, especially machine learning, is described as incredibly swift. And that's because it's not just about silicon density anymore. It's about the exponential growth in data, processing power, and crucially, algorithmic refinement that sort of feeds on itself.
Incredibly swift is almost an understatement. The article uses this really vivid contrast. The AI of January is a pale representation of the AI of July. Think about that, just 6 months. That means the tools, the capabilities, even our understanding of AI are constantly shifting beneath our feet. What we think is cutting edge today might be, rudimentary by the end of the year.
And that rapid evolution has some significant implications for us, for you, the listener. It means a constant need to adapt, whether it's in our jobs, our education, or even just how we navigate daily life. Skills can become obsolete faster, new tools emerge with dizzying speed. It really challenges our ability to keep up both individually and as a society with the technological and societal shifts AI brings.
Yeah.
It also raises that critical question. How quickly can our policies, our ethical frameworks, even our cultural norms possibly evolve to match this breathtaking pace? We're basically building the plane while flying it, only the plane keeps morphing into a jet, then a rocket.
That's a great analogy. It really is a continuous learning curve for all of us. Okay, so this rapid development, it brings us to a really fascinating area where AI is taking off the public sphere.
Right.
Government and educational institutions are increasingly embracing AI. They're seeing it not just as a tool for minor tweaks, but as a, crucial component of future efficiency and preparedness.
That's right. State and local governments are actively exploring and implementing AI tools with a pretty clear goal. Streamline operations, reduce workload for their employees, and ultimately improve the public services they provide.
Makes sense.
It's a proactive move, really, to leverage technology for administrative benefits and just to serve citizens more effectively.
And we have a great case study from Indiana, actually. Their lawmakers set up a bipartisan AI task force back in 2024, and it's now in its second year.
Okay, bipartisan, that's good.
Yeah, and the chair, Senator Liz Brown, emphasized their broad goal is to have open discussions across a wide range of topics about how the government uses AI. So this isn't about quick fixes. It's about thoughtful, long-term integration, understanding both the, immense potential and the inherent risks.
And they're already seeing some tangible benefits. For instance, the Indiana Department of Workforce Development has an opt-in AI program that helps pair individuals with potential jobs.
Okay.
And the data is pretty compelling. Pete Miller, the chief data officer for the state's Management and Performance Hub, he noted that when people use this AI tool, the top job result would pay nearly $4 an hour more than if the person searched themselves.
Wow, $4 an hour more.
Yeah, that's a direct, measurable economic benefit for citizens, right? improving job matching, potentially boosting incomes. It's about empowering individuals with better information.
That is significant. It's not just efficiency for the government, but actually better economic outcomes for people. Plus, they have an AI chatbot across all state government websites now, designed to connect people to information faster, reducing wait times, improving accessibility.
Standard stuff now, but useful.
But amidst all this progress, there's also this interesting legislative tension, isn't there? The whole challenge of regulating something so dynamic.
Indeed. You've got Philip Lashitka, the Deputy General Counsel for the governor, suggesting the legislature could, play a bigger role. Define specific legal factors for privacy risk assessments when agencies use data.
Okay. Provide clear guidelines.
Right. Build public trust. But then you have State Representative Matt Pierce cautioning against over-legislating in not the best way.
Yeah.
He's worried it might stifle some innovation or create some limitations because, let's face it, legislatures are often behind the curve when it comes to rapidly evolving tech.
Yeah.
It really highlights that delicate balancing act governments face.
Yeah.
How do you protect citizens without inadvertently hindering the very innovation that could improve public life?
It's the classic dilemma, isn't it? How do you regulate something that's changing faster than you can possibly write the laws? You want protection, but you don't want to kill innovation. It's critical. Now, Indiana's not alone in this. Pennsylvania has an even more, ambitious generative AI pilot program going on.
Yes. Pennsylvania launched a year-long generative AI pilot back in January. It involves 195 employees across 14 agencies, and they're using ChatGPT Enterprise. The scope is quite broad, designed to explore a whole range of potential applications within state government.
So a big test run.
A significant investment, in understanding how this powerful new tech can actually serve public administration.
And are they finding value in it?
It seems so. The most frequent uses they observed during the pilot include things like writing assistance, research, brainstorming, and summarizing large amounts of text or data.
Okay, the usual suspects for Gen AI.
Right. But these are all tasks that can be incredibly time-consuming for employees. So the idea is freeing them up for more complex, maybe more human-centric work. And crucially, the investment seems to be paying off. The state spent about $108,000 for the licenses, training, and support.
Okay.
But the employees reported a positive experience and, get this, saved an average of 90 minutes per day using these.
90 minutes a day. That's huge.
It's a remarkable efficiency gain, isn't it? Potentially freeing up countless hours across the workforce. It's prompting the state to look for ways to expand access and scale these benefits. It's not just saving time. It's reallocating human capital to higher value tasks.
90 minutes. Just think of the collective time savings across an entire state workforce and how that could translate into better service delivery. And it's not just at the state level, right? Local governments are getting in on this too.
Absolutely. Allegheny County in Pennsylvania, for example, is actively developing its own comprehensive AI policy to guide its future adoption.
Okay.
And the Housing Authority of the City of Pittsburgh, HACP, they're exploring AI, specifically with a company called Bob.ai, for processing housing applications.
Oh, that could be impactful.
Big time. They anticipate a 50% reduction in processing times and up to a 75% backlog reduction. That's a massive improvement for citizens waiting on crucial housing assistance, cutting through red tape, getting people into homes faster. HACP is also piloting Google Gemini with about 60 employees for optimizing internal communication, things like drafting memos, summarizing meeting notes, that kind of stuff.
So these are tangible benefits directly impacting citizens' lives, from job matching to housing assistance. That's pretty compelling. But as we know, with generative AI comes risks, especially around data and decision-making. What kinds of policies or safeguards does Pennsylvania have in place to handle those?
Well, Pennsylvania's existing AI policy is actually quite proactive and robust. It specifically prohibits using generative AI to make decisions for employees. That's vital, right? Against algorithmic bias or flawed automated judgments that could unfairly impact people.
Critical safeguard.
Absolutely. It also requires the user to review and verify anything created by generative AI, which directly addresses that hallucination issue we'll talk more about later, ensures a human stays in the loop for accuracy.
Okay, human oversight.
And critically, it prohibits putting any private data or information into generative AI tools. That aims to protect sensitive information, prevent inadvertent data leaks. Plus, training on safe and responsible AI use will be a prerequisite for any state employees using these tools, making sure they understand both the capabilities and the limitations.
That's a smart, multi-layered approach, embedding safeguards, mandating training right from the start. It really speaks for a thoughtful understanding of AI's power. So for you, the listener, what aspects of government services you interact with could benefit from this kind of AI streamlining? And maybe conversely, what concerns might you have about this kind of automation in public services, especially around privacy or fairness?
And beyond government, another critical area embracing AI is education. Universities are recognizing the imperative now to equip students with AI literacy and ethical understanding, really regardless of their chosen field.
Mm.
They get that AI isn't just for the computer science majors anymore, it's becoming a foundational skill for the modern world.
Indeed. The University of Nevada, Reno, for example, has launched something called PAC AI. It's pretty ambitious, an initiative designed to integrate AI across their entire campus. The goal, enhancing the educational experience for both students and faculty.
So not just one department, it's campus-wide.
Exactly. A campus-wide transformation to prepare students for an AI-driven future.
And what's particularly noteworthy is their approach to universal AI exposure. All incoming freshmen and transfer students will participate in a mandatory AI module as part of their Nevada Fit program.
Mandatory, okay.
Mandatory. And this module focuses specifically on the use of AI in coursework, ethics, and academic integrity. As the university president, Brian Sandoval, put it, regardless of what major you are in this campus, you will be exposed to artificial intelligence. It acknowledges that whether you're studying art, history, business, engineering, AI will be part of your professional life.
That's so important because AI really isn't just for tech majors anymore. It's going to touch every field, every industry. And it seems like the students get it too. One senior, Alexandra McClanahan, was quoted saying, "It's better that we're accepting and educating because then hopefully we can turn some of the misuse into productive conversations about AI."
That's a great perspective.
Yeah, and another senior, Campbell Dedman, specifically emphasized its importance for the business world. This kind of forward-thinking approach from academia is just crucial in ensuring the next generation is prepared to harness AI responsibly and effectively.
It reflects a very practical and forward-thinking approach, doesn't it? Instead of just banning AI, which you see in some places because of cheating concerns.
Right, the knee-jerk reaction.
Exactly. UNR is embracing it, but with a strong emphasis on responsible and ethical use. They're preparing students not just to use AI, but to think critically about its implications, understand its limits, and integrate it productively into their future careers. It raises that important question. How can educational institutions best prepare everyone for a world increasingly shaped by AI? You need both competency and ethical awareness.
Yeah, fostering that nuanced understanding, not just the technical skill. Okay, so as AI fundamentally reshapes how we live and work, it's also, perhaps unsurprisingly, reshaping the stock market.
Big time.
The Motley Fool, their stated purpose is to make the world smarter, happier, and richer, and they position themselves as a guide in this complex investment area. They're pretty clear. AI is certainly an area you want to invest in.
That's a strong statement, and it definitely reflects the palpable excitement around AI stocks right now. Financial platforms like the Motley Fool or barchart.com, they're actively providing market analysis, news, themed lists, best AI stocks, Magnificent Seven, stuff like that to help investors navigate this new landscape. What these diverse companies reveal isn't just a tech boom, though. It's more like a fundamental re-architecture of how businesses operate. The underlying insight for investors and innovators, too, is that AI isn't just another product, it's the new infrastructure.
Okay, explain that, the new infrastructure.
Yeah, from the chips that power it to the networks that move its data and the platforms that make it actionable. It's really an investment in the foundational layers of tomorrow's economy. It's a shift that presents both, exciting opportunities and the need for really informed investment strategies.
That's a powerful way to frame it. AI as the new infrastructure. Okay, so let's dig into some of the top AI stocks identified by the Motley Fool. First up, the undisputed king of AI infrastructure itself, NVIDIA.
NVIDIA's dominance is, well, truly undeniable right now. Their graphics processing units, GPUs, which, funny enough, were initially designed for rendering complex video games.
Right, for gamers.
Yeah, they found their true calling powering most AI workloads worldwide. These specialized chips are the muscle behind everything from large language models to complex data analysis. In the first quarter alone, they commanded an astonishing 92% of the GPU market. That's practically a monopoly in this critical hardware space.
92%.
Yeah. But it's not just about the hardware. What truly sets them apart and creates a significant competitive advantage, their moat, as they call it, is their CUDA software platform.
Right, the CUD platform. That's fascinating because NVIDIA didn't just build powerful chips. They strategically planted this software platform into universities and research labs years before AI went mainstream.
Very clever.
Super clever. That early push created a generation of developers trained on its tools and this vast library of software built on Sierra. It means that developers creating AI models are often building on NVIDIA's architecture right from the ground up. That's a massive ecosystem and a formidable barrier that rivals just struggle to cross.
Precisely. This software moat means that even if a competitor could somehow match NVIDIA's hardware performance, they'd still have to overcome years of developer loyalty and all that established infrastructure. And NVIDIA isn't resting on its laurels either.
No.
Now, they've accelerated their product cycle to new chip launches annually, making sure they stay ahead of the curves. And they're expanding into the automotive market with self-driving tech and robotaxis, diversifying their growth beyond just data centers. This strategic foresight and execution is what makes them such a dominant force.
That's a smart long-term play, weaving their tech into future industries. Okay, next on the list, a company that's evolved quite dramatically. Palantir Technologies.
Palantir has a really interesting and unique evolution. They started out as this critical analytics partner to U.S. government agencies, focused on complex data analysis for intelligence defense, often called the secret weapon for national security.
Spooky stuff.
Yeah, a bit. But now they're making a significant mark in commercial markets, bringing their powerful data integration and analysis capabilities to private companies. Their key product is the Artificial Intelligence Platform, or AIP.
Okay, AIT. And what it does is integrate data from numerous, often really disparate sources into what they call an ontology.
Ontology?
All right.
Okay, so it creates like a unified, structured view of data, almost like a company's single master blueprint for all its information.
Exactly.
It doesn't just store information. It defines how everything relates, making seemingly disparate facts coherent, actionable for AI models to produce clear, actionable results. So it's essentially becoming an AI operating system for companies, letting them truly leverage their data with AI. Yes, exactly. And the strength of their AIP is clearly reflected in their recent financials. In Q2, their U.S. commercial revenue surged an incredible 93%.
Wow.
Yeah, while their total deal value more than doubled and their customer base climbed 43%. These are explosive growth metrics that indicate really rapid adoption by commercial entities. Given the breadth of use cases it can handle across different industries, manufacturing, healthcare, you name it, Palantir seems to have a long runway of growth. And as the Motley Fool suggests, the potential to grow into one of the largest companies in the world.
High praise indeed. Then there's Alphabet, Google's parent company. You might just think of Google as search and advertising, but AI is actually strengthening its core businesses, not just some separate experimental division.
That's the crucial insight here. AI isn't just a new venture for Alphabet. It's deeply integrated into their existing massive operations, bolstering their fundamental offerings. Take their search business, it's gained significant momentum with AI overviews.
Right, those summaries at the top.
Exactly. Those are now being used by over 2 billion people a month, contributing to a 12% year-over-year increase in search revenue. It shows how AI enhances the user experience, making search results more comprehensive, more relevant, which in turn drives engagement and, well, ad revenue.
And Google Cloud is another major beneficiary, right? Its revenue jumped 32% and operating profit more than doubled in Q2. And that was specifically due to strong AI demand on its Vertex platform. So it's not just Google using AI. They're providing the infrastructure and tools for other companies to build and deploy their own AI models on Google's cloud.
And another often overlooked area is Alphabet's custom tensor processing units, or TPUs. These are specialized chips they've developed in-house that offer a nice advantage for inference performance per dollar, which is critical for running AI models efficiently, cost-effectively.
Right, running the models, not just training them.
Exactly. They also have other AI-driven contributions, like YouTube ad revenue grew 13%, largely thanks to AI-driven recommendations and ad targeting. And Waymo, their robotaxi service, which is expanding into new cities, showcasing practical, real-world AI applications.
So it's pretty diversified.
Very. And from a valuation perspective, the Motley Fool considers Alphabet one of the most attractive AI stocks, trading at a forward PE just over 20, making it, in their words, a must-own stock for any investor looking for that diversified AI exposure.
Diversified, strong core business, attractive valuation. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, beyond these giants, it's also worth noting how companies like Broadcom and GitLab are carving out critical niches. Broadcom, for instance, is a chip maker too, but they're not directly competing with NVIDIA on GPUs, are they?
That's right. Broadcom's strategy is different. They play to their strengths in AI networking and custom chip design. Their Ethernet switches and other networking components are absolutely critical for moving vast amounts of data between AI clusters. They're like the high-speed highways for all that AI computation.
The plumbing.
Exactly. The essential plumbing. Demand in this area is booming. Their AI networking revenue was up 70% in Q1. They're kind of the unsung heroes ensuring the data flows seamlessly.
So they're building the literal infrastructure that lets AI models communicate effectively across these massive data centers. And their work on custom ASICs, application-specific integrated circuits, that sounds like a huge opportunity too.
It is. ASICs are custom chips designed for one specific purpose, offering incredible efficiency for that task. Broadcom, for instance, helped develop Alphabet's TPUs we just mentioned.
Okay.
Their management estimates that their top 3 customers alone could represent a $60 billion to $90 billion opportunity in fiscal 2027 just for these custom ASICs. This is a massive long-term growth driver, cementing their position as a key enabler of advanced AI. Plus, their recent acquisition of VMware adds another growth lever.
Right, VMware. How does that fit in?
Well, VMware's Cloud Foundation platform helps enterprises manage AI workloads across hybrid cloud environments, mixing private and public clouds. So that further solidifies Broadcom as a crucial player in AI infrastructure and enterprise software.
That's significant. Okay, and then there's GitLab. How does a company that started as a code repository fit into this whole AI investment picture?
GitLab has evolved dramatically. It went from a code repository into a full-fledged AI-powered software development platform. The recent GitLab 18 release included more than 30 upgrades, notably something called Duo Agent.
Duo Agent.
Yeah, it automates things like testing, deployment, security, and monitoring. This is crucial because, as the source points out, developers spend only a fraction of their time actually writing code.
Right, there's all the other stuff.
Exactly. Automating the rest of the workflow can dramatically increase productivity by handling all those ancillary but necessary tasks.
So it's about making developers more efficient overall, not just speeding up the coding part. They've seen steady 25% plus revenue growth since they went public, right? Q1 sales up 27% year over year.
Yep. Plus, there's a potential shift they're considering from seat-based to consumption-based pricing that could drive revenue even higher by aligning their income more directly with how much the platform is actually used.
Interesting model shift.
Despite this consistent growth and innovation, the Motley Fool notes that investors worry about the impact of AI on software generally. That seems to have led to GitLab stock falling to what they call a very attractive valuation, a forward price-to-sales ratio of about 7 times the 2025 analyst estimates.
So maybe undervalued.
They suggest it's a potential undervaluation, driven by general AI concerns rather than specific company performance, which could represent an interesting opportunity. Understanding these key players, NVIDIA, Palantir, Alphabet, Broadcom, GitLab, it offers valuable insights into the fundamental components and applications driving the AI revolution, whether you're an investor or just curious about the economic impact.
It's clear that AI is not just a technological revolution, but a massive economic one too, fundamentally reshaping industries from the ground up. But okay, with all this power and integration comes a critical imperative: ethics and responsible use.
Absolutely. As AI, particularly generative AI, becomes more powerful and widely adopted, addressing ethical considerations and ensuring responsible use is just paramount. We've seen incredible capabilities, but there are inherent risks that really need to be understood and mitigated, especially around accuracy and truth.
And one of the biggest risks we hear about with generative AI is what's known as hallucination.
Right.
This is where the AI has a tendency to create falsehoods and present them as facts, often with no basis in reality. It's not like it's intentionally lying.
No, it doesn't have intent.
Right. It's simply generating plausible sounding but incorrect information based on its training data. And it can be incredibly convincing, which makes it dangerous.
And this is precisely why experts like Cole Gessner from Carnegie Mellon University's Block Center for Technology and Society advise us to, and I love this quote, treat it almost like it's a summer intern. You have to double-check its work.
That's great.
Isn't it? It drives home the point that while AI can be a powerful assistant, it lacks human judgment, critical reasoning, and an inherent understanding of truth. You just cannot blindly trust it, especially for critical tasks where accuracy is paramount, whether that's government use or just your own personal research.
This is exactly why policy is so important. Remember we talked about Pennsylvania's AI policy for its state employees.
Hmm.
It specifically prohibits using generative AI to make decisions for employees and requires the user to review and verify anything created by generative AI. These are direct responses to that hallucination problem and the potential for biased or incorrect decisions if it's left unchecked.
Yeah, human in the loop.
And it also prohibits putting private data into generative AI tools, trying to prevent sensitive information from being inadvertently absorbed into the AI's training models.
These safeguards are absolutely essential for responsible deployment. They acknowledge the immense benefits of AI while simultaneously building in layers of human oversight and data protection. It raises an important question for you, the listener. How do you ensure you are critically evaluating the information AI provides, especially when you're using generative tools in your own life or work? It forces us all to be more discerning consumers of information.
Definitely. And speaking of private data, there's a pretty significant legal case happening right now that really highlights the privacy concerns around some of these AI tools. We're talking about the Otter.ai lawsuit.
Yes, Otter.ai, very popular AI-powered speech-to-text transcription service, widely used for virtual meetings, Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, lots of people use it.
It offers incredible convenience, right? Automatically transcribing conversations, even summarizing them, saves users a ton of time.
But according to this class action lawsuit, Otter.ai is being accused of deceptively and surreptitiously recording private conversations without permission from the people using it, and specifically using those recordings to train its AI systems.
Right, so it's not just about transcribing for the user, it's allegedly about using private conversations as, like, fuel for their AI's learning algorithms, without explicit informed consent.
And the lawsuit makes several key allegations about consent, or really the lack of it. It says that, by default, Otter Notebook does not ask meeting attendees for permission to record.
Which seems basic, right?
You'd think.
Yeah.
And it fails to alert participants that recordings are shared with Otter for AI improvement. Now, Otter's privacy policy apparently states it receives explicit permission via a checkbox.
Ah, the checkbox defense.
Right. But the lawsuit contends that many users are still duped into agreeing without fully understanding the implications, or maybe not even realizing the checkbox exists or what it truly entails.
And this gets even more problematic. If a host has integrated their virtual meeting accounts, like their calendar, with Otter,
How so?
the lawsuit alleges that in those cases, an Otter note-taker may join the meeting without obtaining the affirmative consent from any meeting participant, including the host.
Whoa, so it just shows up.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
This means a tool could be recording a private conversation, potentially violating state and federal privacy and wiretap laws, all of the suit claims, for the company's financial gain by enhancing their AI.
Yikes. And there are real-world horror stories that illustrate these concerns, aren't there?
Yeah, the source mentions one anecdote about an AI researcher whose business deal was apparently killed because Otter recorded intimate confidential details about a business discussion after he'd already left the meeting.
After he left, wow.
Yeah. This information, intended to be private, was transcribed and stored, potentially accessible to others. It just highlights the vulnerability of confidential discussions in this AI-permeated environment.
That's a huge breach of trust and confidentiality. And it's not just business deals. A Politico correspondent writing about interviewing a Uyghur human rights activist using Otter raised fears about potential Chinese government access to sensitive conversations with dissidents.
Oh, wow.
Due to Otter's alleged sharing of user data with third parties. Now, Otter denies sharing with foreign governments, but the concern is clearly there. It exposes this broader worry about where our most sensitive data actually ends up.
And you see widespread complaints too, right? On platforms like X, Reddit, people complained about Otter automatically joining meetings, recording without explicit consent. It reflects a broader pattern of frustration and maybe distrust. Otter claims it de-identifies audio before feeding it to its machine learning systems. Tries to remove personally identifiable information.
Oh, that anonymization.
But the lawsuit challenges this. It asserts that Otter's de-identification process does not remove confidential information or guarantee speaker anonymity and lacks sufficient public explanation. It raises that fundamental question. Is true de-identification even possible with complex conversations? And how much trust should users place in those claims?
This whole situation with Otter.ai just raises a critical question for you, our listener. How vigilant are you about the privacy policies and data usage practices of the AI tools you use for convenience? especially in professional or sensitive contexts.
Yeah.
It's a stark reminder that convenience can come with significant, often invisible trade-offs, and that the fine print matters more than ever.
And these privacy concerns, they really extend to the even broader global challenge of AI regulation and traceability. As AI-generated content, think deepfakes, synthetic videos, even AI news articles,
Yeah.
becomes basically indistinguishable from reality.
Scary stuff.
Ensuring its traceability and authenticity requires coordinated international regulation. But that's a complex and politically fraught endeavor, made even harder by the global borderless nature of digital content.
It's like that ancient story, right? From Zhuangzi, the wise sage who dreamt he was a butterfly,
Yeah, the butterfly dream.
then woke up and wondered if he was a man who dreamt he was a butterfly, or a butterfly now dreaming he was a man. Our source brings this up to connect it to the modern challenge of distinguishing what is considered artificial and real in AI-generated videos, images, audio. It even mentions prompt theory, this unsettling philosophical idea that we ourselves may be the product of a prompt, questioning the very nature of reality when AI can create such compelling fictions.
It's a fascinating, if, yeah, unsettling philosophical parallel. And for regulators, the challenge is very real. How do you establish a legal framework that distinguishes the artificial from the real and holds creators accountable? Two primary technical methods for traceability have emerged: watermarking and labeling.
Okay, watermarking sounds like the more robust solution of the two. It involves embedding a signal within the content itself to mark its artificial origin, designed to withstand modifications or at least reveal tampering.
Like a digital DNA?
Exactly, like a digital DNA woven into the content. The source even traces its origin back to 13th century paper mills in Italy, where it functioned like a primitive single-block blockchain to verify the authenticity of paper. This deep embedded marker makes it incredibly difficult to remove without destroying the content.
Exactly. It's meant to be a fundamental embedded marker intended to be resilient. In contrast, labeling relies on external markers, such as metadata or disclaimers, basically a digital sticky note.
Okay.
While labeling is more readily perceived by the public, you see a generated by AI tag, maybe it is also more easily stripped away, rendering it a less robust solution.
Ah, so less permanent.
Right. While you might see a disclaimer today, it could be easily removed tomorrow. That makes it a less reliable method for long-term authentication or for content that is deliberately designed to deceive.
So watermarking is maybe the ideal, but both have challenges. And when we look at how different places, different jurisdictions are approaching this, it gets even more complicated. It's creating this patchwork of regulations.
Definitely.
In the United States, for example, the stance seems to have been shifting. President Biden's executive order encouraged labeling and watermarking, but didn't impose requirements on private companies, mostly relying on voluntary industry standards. Then President Trump rescinded that order, and subsequent policy documents omitted explicit references to traceability.
Yeah, the America's AI Action Plan, a very recent document, mentions a need for AI to pursue objective truth, but largely lacks explicit mandated traceability obligations for businesses. Yeah. There's a paragraph on combating synthetic media in the legal system, but it's pretty limited to preventing fake evidence, doesn't mandate concrete measures for private companies.
So the U.S. relies heavily on voluntary industry efforts, like that Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity.
Exactly. Encouraging companies to adopt their own authentication standards. It's more of a hands-off approach, prioritizing innovation, but placing the onus of responsibility primarily on industry itself.
Okay, so kind of a hands-off approach from the government, letting industry self-regulate, more or less. But the EU has taken a really different path, haven't they? Much more prescriptive.
Yes, the EU AI Act, enacted in 2024, is far more prescriptive. It mandates clear disclosure of synthetic content and the labeling of deepfakes, building on earlier legislation like the Digital Services Act, which aims to regulate online content more broadly. The EU's approach is really characterized by a strong emphasis on consumer protection, transparency, fundamental rights. However, its practical effects will remain uncertain until it is fully implemented after a complex transitional period. So the real-world impact is still, TBD.
Still unfolding. And China, they seem to be going even further with a highly centralized approach.
Yeah, China is directly focused on deep synthesis, the technology behind generative AI. They're formalizing traceability with new measures to standardize labeling practices and a binding national standard set to take effect on September 1st, 2025.
Binding national standard, okay.
It shows a much more top-down, mandated approach to ensuring authenticity and control over AI-generated content. It reflects their broader regulatory philosophy of strong state oversight over digital platforms and information. They're prioritizing control and stability, really.
So we have these three distinct paths: the US hands-off, the EU prescriptive, and the China top-down. But the problem is inherently global, right? AI-generated content can cross borders instantly. A fragmented regulatory landscape seems pretty problematic.
Precisely. A shared solution connecting these separate paths on a global scale seems to be hindered by current geopolitical tensions and divisions. Our source points out that a 2024 UN report by the Secretary General's high-level advisory body on AI was a missed opportunity. Well, it made only a passing reference to labeling and omitted any discussion of watermarking. It just illustrates the difficulty of achieving international consensus on such a critical, rapidly evolving technology when national interests often diverge. That zero-sum race mentality regarding AI development, mentioned even in the US AI Action Plan, doesn't exactly inspire immediate optimism for global collaboration.
It really underscores the difficulty of achieving, like, legal interoperability across jurisdictions when there's no unified framework. The risk here is a fractured digital ecosystem where what's permissible or verifiable in one country is just a free-for-all in another.
Yet global problems, like understanding the nature of what we read and see from across the world, they demand global solutions. The compelling proposal our source mentions is to support the development of a shared reference framework.
Okay, a shared framework.
Yeah, this framework should emerge from good faith international, institutional, and academic efforts, combining both unilateral regulations and voluntary standards to define the boundaries of synthetic outputs. This way, humans might more clearly define what's artificial, and perhaps, as the source suggests, be prompted to reflect more deeply on their own too. It's about establishing a common language, a common understanding for what constitutes truth in the age of AI.
What an incredible thought. And this leads us to perhaps the most human aspect of AI, its manners, or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Beyond the technical regulation, the complex legal frameworks, there's this profound social dimension to AI that we often overlook. Leonard Woolsey in the Daily News asks this very simple yet profound question. If machine learning or AI will be built upon its interactions with us, shouldn't we do it a right thing for future generations and teach it to say please and thank you?
It's a deceptively simple question, isn't it? But it opens up a much deeper ethical consideration about our role as humans in shaping artificial intelligence. If AI truly learns from its interactions with us, then every interaction, every prompt, every piece of feedback we give it, however small, contributes to its learning process. Our behavior towards AI could, in a very real sense, shape its future behavior and its integration into our society. It's almost like, well, raising a child in a way. The inputs it receives become foundational to its development.
Think about it. When we're polite to a voice bot, even if it feels silly or performative.
Yeah, like the author's wife.
Exactly. Are we subtly teaching the underlying AI something about respectful communication? Are we modeling a future where machines aren't just efficient, but also, in some programmed way, considerate, maybe even empathetic? It's about more than just convenience. It's about the kind of societal interaction we want to cultivate, not just for ourselves, but for generations to come. We are actively creating the digital etiquette of the future through our seemingly small daily acts.
It encourages us, encourages you, the listener, to reflect on your own daily interactions with AI and the subtle ways you might be contributing to its learning process. It urges us to consider the long-term societal impact of these seemingly small acts of politeness. If AI is a reflection of its training data, and we are part of that data, then we have a profound responsibility to teach it well.
Yeah.
The aha here is recognizing that our seemingly trivial everyday interactions with AI are not just transactions. They are, in a very real sense, formative training sessions. The insight is that we have an evolving collective responsibility to model the very ethical and social behaviors we want AI to embody, because our digital etiquette today really shapes the intelligence of tomorrow.
Wow, what a journey we've taken today. I mean, from the invisible AI embedded in our phones and customer service bots to the astonishing pace of its development that's just breaking old rules of technological progress.
Yeah.
We've seen how governments in Indiana and Pennsylvania are strategically adopting AI for efficiency, for improved public services, while universities like UNR are proactively preparing the next generation with mandatory AI literacy and ethics, understanding that AI is for everyone now.
We also dove deep into the booming business of AI, looking at major players like NVIDIA, Palantir, Alphabet, and those key enablers like Broadcom and GitLab. We explored their unique positions in this rapidly reshaping market, understanding that AI really is the new infrastructure driving tomorrow's economy.
Right.
And crucially, we explored the critical human elements, the
Okay.
risks of AI hallucination, the pressing privacy concerns highlighted by that Otter.ai lawsuit, and the complex global challenge of regulating and tracing AI-generated content in a fractured world.
So, what does this all mean for you? If we acknowledge that AI learns from its interactions with us, from every prompt, every data point, and yes, even every please and thank you we might utter into the void of a voice bot, then we are not just users of AI.
No.
We are its teachers. So, what lessons are we impartially conveying? And what kind of intelligence are we actively shaping for the future?
It's a profound responsibility, isn't it? And one that shifts our perspective from merely observing AI to actively participating in its evolution. It asks us to be mindful, even in the smallest moments, of the profound impact our interactions can have.
We encourage you to continue observing AI in your own lives, to question its influence, and maybe to consider your role in guiding its development through your own daily interactions and your informed perspectives. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.